Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of POH Bother, my chunk-locked Ultimate Iron Man. So in the last episode, I finally got my costume built, which means I can start working towards items to store in here. And since the last episode, I've been a little busy. As you might notice, I've got some fishing levels, and that's because I've been at Fishing Trawler fishing the full angler set. Now this is not only a storable that I will want for later for when I go for minnows, but it is also an account goal, so I get to roll another chunk for it. So let's just put this in here. Oh, huh. I didn't know you didn't need a bank print to store items. But yeah, I'll sort the bank print out in a minute. But I also realized I forgot something I did in the last episode. So when I was showing off the player on house, I made an altar. I forgot that making an altar was one of my account goals. The reason I kind of forgot is because I did this last minute, just like, I have the spare money, might as well make an altar. This altar won't give me any, like, prayer boost, or prayer experience boost if I use bones on it, because I don't have the incense burners and it's the level 1. But for the sake of the account goal, it still counts. So that means I get 2 more chunk rows to start this episode. So the first one is... Okay, and I think this will just be a free unlock because I have most of the adjacent stuff. I'll check that in a minute. But that is useful, or I do need that for the Grand Tree, so that's not terrible. And the next chunk is Rogue's Castle. You know, I actually was thinking about this. I'm not sure if I should unlock the other wilderness obelisks, because it's a random teleport. It's not like canoes where I can guarantee where I end up. So I could start unlocking the obelisk, but need to use or unlock all of them before I can use it, or I just could not count that for unlocking chunks. I need to think about that a little more. But oh, and a random event. But yeah, in this episode though, I want to work on filling up my costume with more unlockables. I'd love to continue training construction to get to 50 for portals, but unfortunately I'm out of cash and I need to try and get a better way to get cash, but I also would really like to start working on combat. Now that I can store items, there's one item in particular I'd like to get to store. After taking a minute to think it over, I decide how I want to handle the wilderness obelisks. So, I had all the other destinations unlockable already except for these two, so these are now unlockable, but I can't use the obelisk until I have all possible destinations unlocked, unless I somehow complete the Wilderness Hard Diary without already needing all the destinations, which I don't think is possible, although it might be. That said, there are a couple other things. One, I got a camo top, so those are the camo and lederhosen are now the 2 items I have in here. I could try and add the mine, but I'm pretty sure it's going to tell me I don't have space. Yeah, only 2 sets can be stored. And also, another note for the angler. So I got the boots on my first game, then I went like 35 games dry, and then I managed to finish the full set like 1 over the drop rate, which is did 49 games and it's average 48 because it's 1 in 12 per piece. So that was lucky. And a couple other things to mention real quick. One, I want to get my ass out the looting bag now so I can start using these fire strikes and, you know, nature runes again. I was going to do before the episode, but I thought just in case there's any tragic PK related incidents, I probably should store the angler first. And the other thing, for a while now, I actually have been waiting to get Ferox Enclave so I could store money in the coffer here. It completely slipped my mind that I unlocked Nightmare Zone and that has a much better coffer with a minigame teleport. So if I ever need to store money, I can put in the Nightmare Zone coffer. And, yeah, but to start off this episode, I know I said I want to do combat, and there's a lot of other things I want to do, but after I get the items out of the looting bag, I think I'm actually going to start by doing some quests, because there's a bunch of quests I can do now. I think even Below Ice Mountain's one of them. So, yeah. And if I talk to Ceramic Vars, I will complete Black Knight's Fortress, which is notable because this is not only a quest for a random chunk, but I now have 51 quest points, which is another quest milestone, so I can now do a double chunk. So first I get this random region of the wilderness. Well, I think that is actually... Oh, man, I'm just getting all these wilderness chunks. So, because I unlocked this one, this is the Deep Wilderness Dungeon, I believe. Or, not the Deep Wilderness, the Wilderness Slayer Dungeon, they call it, despite having no Slayer monsters. But that output's over here, so I technically can get to this chunk now. So, now that chunk's also unlockable. Well, that's just great. So, hopefully the roll 2 is a bit better. Okay, it's not all wilderness. Where's the other chunk? That's actually, do I want random chunk in wilderness or chunk over there? Well, this is closer to lava dragons. Actually, it is lava dragons, just a tiny bit of the island. But, I don't know. I don't see myself wanting to risk my inventory at the moment. So I think I am going to pick this one as my next unlock. So yeah, but I'm now working my way more towards Kepos and Lovakenge. But I have a few other quests I've been working on, so let's go finish those up. And here is Pirate's Treasure completed. I don't think there's much yet, just some stuff I'll probably end up selling in here. But that is another quest down for another chunk unlock. So what's the random chunk this time? Well, picking those obelisk squares is really not backfiring a bit here, because okay, out of all the chunks I have unlockable, so many of them are wilderness because I have so many different ways to access these random chunks. But, oh well. And, oh. I don't think that matters now. Yeah, I was gonna say that's Rev Cave, so now I have to make every other Rev Cave entrance unlockable, but they already all are unlockable. So, yeah, but, that is the Wilderness God Wars, which isn't terrible. I know I said I didn't plan on doing wilderness stuff, but if I did kill imps in there and out the EQ keys, that would be pretty decent profit. Once again, I'm not really planning to, you know, do that right now. But now I need to go mine some blurite and finish up Knight's Sword. It's been a while since I did one of these, but remember those chunk tasks I added back in episode 4? Well, one of them was to kill an ice giant in the Asgarnia ice dungeon, so while I was down here for the blurite, I figured I might as well go ahead and do that. Now to get out of here, because these guys can hit pretty hard. Well, I'm getting the experience when I already had a decent smithing level, but there is Knight's Sword completed, and the experience is still really helpful. Getting up to 36 smithing from 30 is a lot for Ultimate Iron Man especially, at least with the training methods I currently have. Or at least it saved a lot of time repairing water wheels. So for this quest, I unlock Tithe Farm. Not upset with that. That also does mean I can, I think I get sand crabs down here. I know I already had sand crabs over there, but more sand crab spots are never bad. And I think I do have some tasks for Tithe Farm. I don't know, it probably won't be a terrible way to train farming, because I don't have a great source of seeds, and, you know, I can't bank seeds. Although, I am not a big fan of Tithe Farm. But yeah, now on to the next quest. And there is Below Ice Mountain completed. This area might actually be a bit useful for my account to train at. I at least probably will want to do the mining because it's a good way to get some kudos, or a way to get some kudos. And I also did make it an account goal or an item goal to get the Incanto Hammer, even though the tool store in the player own house is roughly the same thing. But it's a storable, equipable hammer, so it's kind of neat. So, yeah. But for now, I have a chunk to roll. So what's the new chunk this time? Demonic Ruins. Well, I'm just gonna unlock all the wilderness before I ever get some of the chunks like, you know, south of Rock, aren't I? Oh well, but there is something else I can do for a chunk unlock now. Wait a minute. So I went back and checked, and I wasn't supposed to be able to unlock this chunk. When I unlocked the Royal Castle earlier, I made this unlockable. But there is no gate on this side. You have to go over here or over here. So yeah, I cannot access this chunk from my existing chunks. So let me actually go and re-roll. Let's see. There we go. So this is how it should look. And roll a chunk. And, yep, still wilderness. So that might be a coastline chunk that has nothing in it. So let me check that in a bit. But yeah, just a wilderness chunk. Not a big deal. So in addition to completing quests, I should be able to finish the Falador Easy Diary. The last thing I needed was Knight's Sword, I believe. It's kind of funny, because Falador was the diary I seemed the furthest away from for a while, because I didn't have the main part of Falador, and now it's the first one I'm completing. And here is the Falador Diary completed. So now I have the shield, which I don't think it gives much, maybe a little bit of prayer. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent shield to have anyway. Yeah. Oh, some negative magic. I think it's an Iron Kite shield. Unfortunately, I can't put this on Herblore yet, or, like, any other skill that's really worth putting it on. And I'll think over what I want to use it, maybe even just construction to save some planks. It's only 2.5k, not that huge of a deal in the long run. But since I completed my first achievement diary, that gives me my first chunk roll from a diary. Do I get a good chunk? Of course not. And, well, now this chunk's unlockable, and this chunk, and this chunk. Yeah, the wilderness is just so much of my possible unlocks right now that it's a pretty high likelihood I'm gonna roll chunks up here. But now I think I'm going to go to something else. There are still a few quests I can complete. I forgot that since I did Goblin Diplomacy, I was able to now start the Cave Goblin quest series. But instead of doing that, I actually think I want to get myself a Rune Scimitar. That took a bit longer than I was expecting, but there is the Rune Scimitar. So I came to Zamrock Warriors because they only have like 45 hit points and it's a 1 in 50. It took me 61 kills. Here I was thinking I'd go or get it at a lucky KC, and I went a little dry. But hey, got the Rune Scimitar now, that's all that matters. And I did buy a decent amount of Fire Strikes because I'm sure I'll find uses for them elsewhere. But alongside this, I did manage to pick up 40 magic, which means I get another chunk unlock. So the chunk I get is... Okay, down here in Felled Up Hills. I know this is near Big Chumpy Bird Hunting, but I need that tile. Although it will be nice to get other hunting methods aside from Implings, the few things in Karen Woodland, the Ruby Harvest and the Chinchompas and the whatever birds there. So yeah, having more of the hunter area down here will also be nice. But for now, I actually think what I want to do is go to Slayer. So I currently have an Ice Fiend task, and I'm very close to getting 20 Slayer for another chunk unlock, but I want to work on training up my stats a bit before I get to some other content, and there's also a certain drop I'm after. And there is 20 Slayer. That unfortunately does mean I'm now able to get Rock Slug tasks, but hopefully I don't get one of those. But for the chunk unlock, I get... Oh, that is Rag and Bone Man. Also, can I get up here? I'm going to say I can't because I think there's a fence and... Oh no, this is pretty much a dead chunk anyway. But yeah, Rack and Bone Man. Also the limestone mine, so I don't have to buy it off that merchant anymore if I need more limestone. I need to see if I can do Rack and Bone Man. There might be some monsters in chunks I can't get to. I definitely don't think I can do part 2, but it might be a quest I can do. Well, that is unfortunate. So I got to do a bunch of tasks, but now I'm hit with Calphites, which I currently cannot do. The only places I know anyway to get Calphites are down here or in the cave right here. So if I unlock this chunk, I can start doing Calphites. But until then, I'm kind of stuck with Slayer because I don't think I could even skip this task because it's from one of the lowest level masters. That said, I did consider going to Vanica, but so many of Vanica's tasks that he would assign me are ones that weren't in my chunks, and stuff that just was not very easy to kill either, like ogres and whatnot. So yeah, that's why I was continuing with this Slayer Master. But I did get a decent bit of levels before I ran into a roadblock with Slayer. So yeah, I still probably work on training combat, maybe just actually go over to sand crabs now. But in the process, I did manage to get 2 beginner caskets. So can I get luck? Oh my god. Oh, okay, I was about to say, so the reason I got a Rune Scimitar now is because I can store it if I got one of these kits. It's a 1 in 60 chance. It's like a 1 in 360 per kit, but there's 3 different kits, and you get an average of 2 items per, or 2 rows per clue. And the second one I cannot believe I got that in my first beginner. Because, actually, I'm pretty sure that is also an unlock. Let me check. It is in fact a random chunk unlock to store any of the Rune Scimitar ornament kits in the treasure chest. So if I just swap this over here and use that on there, ta-da! I can now store a Rune Scimitar whenever I want, which is, the whole goal of this account is to be able to store as much stuff as I can. So this is a really big deal, and I cannot believe I got that on the first clue. So, yeah. So let's see what wilderness chunk I get now. Oh, it actually isn't Wilder. Wait, why was that unlockable? Oh, it's the other side of the Lizardman Canyon, that's why. Okay, I can't actually get to the rest of Lovakenge, but I can now access, like, the entirety of the Lizardman Canyon. I haven't considered going for a Xeric Talisman soon, but I feel like I need a bit better combat stats first, because, well, I mean... Yeah... This is working for the moment when you're fighting, like, goblins and stuff, but, I definitely need some gear upgrades. Although I do have something in mind for that. But yeah, for now, I think I'm probably just going to go kill some sand crabs or something. I could also try farming more beginner clues. I am considering that, but I actually don't need that many other items for beginner clues. The scimitars were the main things I wanted, and now that I have the Zamorak one, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting all of them, but it probably is not worth my time to farm a bunch right now. I found a nice spot to train on sand crabs down here in one of my newly unlocked chunks, and I also did try to do that easy clue I got. I was able to do the first step by Rag and Bone Man and start it while I was there, but this next step required me to have one of the gnome tops. And until I unlock the Grand Tree here, that's going to block me out of a lot of easy and medium clues. So hopefully I can get that soon, not only for the Grand Tree, Dwellberries, and stuff, but also for clues. But I also want to take a second to note about what chunks are free unlocks, because when I came over here, I remembered this chunk has nothing in it. It does not connect to other chunks, as I already had all the chunks adjacent to it. It does not have any item spawns, any clue steps, any monsters. It's just completely scenery, so it's considered a free unlock by my rule. However, this chunk down here, it also has no monsters, no clue steps. It does not connect to anything. But if you look over here, it has seaweed spawns. Now, I already have other seaweed spawns. There's some here, so it's not really a big deal. But if I was to come over here and pick up seaweed, having those extra spawns down there would be a benefit, so I don't want to make it a free unlock. Likewise, earlier I was unsure if the chunk over here would be a free unlock, and I realized it would not be, because if I unlock this for free, that would make this chunk unlockable, which currently is not. So because I can pass through this chunk to get to another chunk, it's not a free unlock. I don't know, that's just something that I know I haven't been super consistent with or had a very clear ruling on, so I wanted to do a quick update to explain that. But yeah, I'll probably just be AFKing sand crabs for a bit and getting my combats up. And here is 42 strength and 800 total level. So I get one chunk unlock for 40 strength, and now a bonus chunk unlock, double chunk unlock, whatever I called it, for, yeah. Okay, so we have didn't say that right, but yeah, I get 2 chunk unlocks. The first one's here in Gnome Stronghold. I can't get out this way, so these chunks aren't unlockable yet, but they will be once I get this one. There is a chunk task down here for fishing in this pond, so that's notable. And for the double chunk unlock, okay, what do we have? We have wilderness and, oh, a non-wilderness chunk down here. Let's see. I don't know if there's much here. It would unlock both of these chunks, I believe. Honestly, don't think there's a ton in that map region, but it does work towards raids. Yeah, I don't think I'm really going to do much in the Forgotten Cemetery. At first I thought it might have been the Archaeologist, which would have been a little more notable. So I think I'm going to pick this one and make these unlockable. So yeah, I need to get one more strength level though, so I can keep my max hit when I switch off of aggressive. Then I'll probably start training defense to get my defense up. While training at sand crabs, I've gotten a few easy clues, and this is my first casket. I was going to just stack them all up until I was done training, but there's a chance I could get a power ammy, which would be really good. So what do I get? Oh! Okay, I wasn't prepared for this, but that's a black pickaxe, which is a storable pickaxe, and that was actually an account goal, I think. So, let me get the chunk picker loaded up. Yep, this was in fact an account goal, so let's just put it in here. I think it automatically... There we go. So, I think it's an easy, although I think you can also get them from beginner clues. But yeah, now I have a storable pickaxe, which is really nice. You know, I had a feeling, after how lucky I got on the first beginner clue, maybe I'll get lucky on the first easy clue, and I was actually looking into getting gear upgrades for better offense, like a strength to power ammy, and you can get power ammy from an easy clue. So I'm like, well, it's like a 1 in 1,000 or 1,400 or something, but maybe. So what chunk do I get? Wilderness, great. That's a connecting chunk, so it needs to be unlockable. But it is Black Salamanders, which I think might be a chunk task. I don't know, I'm way off that hunter level anyway, and probably won't even train there. But it is something. But for now, I'm going to get back to training at sand crabs. I decided to go for a bit higher of a strength level than I originally planned, because I figured might as well knock out more training while I'm at it. Another easy casket for... Oh, well, it's unique, but I don't think it's really going to be that useful. But at least I can put it in the play-around house. Also, I did get rune javelins off sand crabs, which is great. After spending most of the day at sand crabs, there is 50 strength, which means I'm done training, at least for the moment. So out of all that training, I got the 50 strength, mainly just for the chunk unlock. 49 was my max hit. 40 defense, which is 2 chunk unlocks, 30 and 40, and also 45 HP. So yeah, in total I have 4 chunk unlocks. Let's see what I can get. That's nice, and oh, I actually had that chunk, so now I can connect to Catherby and don't have to charter ship there. That's actually really nice. I don't remember there's anything I have to do here, but I would like to, or I was planning on training range next, so getting into the ranging guild will be nice. So that's the first chunk unlock. Second chunk unlock is Castle Wars, which also unlocks this, because that's part of the minigame, and now I can start working down here. Third chunk unlock is... oh, we finally got Biscarilius, which means I can also finally get to this chunk that I was supposed to have access to and then couldn't path around there for some reason. So I think that also does mean I can do the quests there. I think the NPCs are down here and here. So that's good. And yeah, I think I have one more chunk unlock, and that is... not what I want to see, but... Wilderness Volcano. Well, at least most of them weren't in the wilderness. Because, yeah, still a lot to unlock in the wilderness. And, wow, that's a very weird little row happening up here. If I get this chunk, it'll be even weirder. But, yeah, I'm very happy with all the chunks I got on this side of the map, especially here. So, now what I think I'm going to do is I can go do the Lost Tribe and Death to the Dorgashin, which will get me the Bone Crossbow, which I can use. So, it probably will make sense to get the Bone Crossbow rather than just training with bronze arrows. And here is Death to the Dorgashin completed, which also means I already went ahead and did the Lost Tribe. So that's 2 chunk unlocks in total. Also got a couple levels from that. And most importantly, I can now use this shop here to get myself a bone crossbow, and I'll figure out how many bone bolts I want to get in a minute. Also, while thieving the ham people for the robes, I got another clue, and Firelighters is a new item, but not that useful of a clue. But now let's see what chunks I unlock. So for the Lost Tribe, I unlock down to Taibo Wanai. And now I can get down here. I think I need this chunk is the last, or I think this is the last chunk I need for the Karamja Easy Diary. So that's kind of notable. Also, I'm just going to unlock that bit of ocean because, yeah. And next up is... I think that is part of Inanatus. And that's the top entrance of the dungeon down here. So, yeah, but wilderness, not my favorite. But hey, at least we're getting through a lot of the wilderness. I mean, still a lot to go, but hopefully that won't be as much of an issue later game. But yeah, so now I'm going to get the bone crossbow, probably get a bit better of ranged gear, and then go start trading ranged. Also probably put the hamrods in the player-owned house, because I think there's tons of space in that armor case. I was able to get some better ranged armor from Dorgashin as well, but there is 40 ranged. I'll probably stay for a couple more levels, but now I get to roll another chunk. Also, I did manage to pick up another easy casket, so let's run over here real quick, and... well, those might be useful for filling some stash units. Oh, I think I did need a black axe for one, so I might try and get that together. So, yeah, but now for the next chunk unlock. Oh, that is really nice. So I can finally access Sears Village. I think I can do Elemental Workshop. I think all of that takes place within, this area right here. There's probably a chunk task or two, or probably a chunk task in the area. I think it was cutting the maples, which I think I have the level 4 now. But yeah, it's very nice to be working in this direction, because there's a lot of stuff around this area that is nice to have. But yeah, I'm gonna do a bit... oh, also I was getting the bones together for Rag and Boneman. It happened to be accidentally when I was trying to get a chef half for a stash unit, so I'll probably do that quest next. And here is Rag and Bone Man completed. So that's another quest unlock. So yeah, let's see what I get. Okay, it's that useless chunk I was talking about earlier that only has seaweed. Great. But now I think I'm actually going to head over to the ham storerooms. I was actually looking into, ooh, that was some nice levels. But I was actually looking into, the, black axe, and I need a ruby ring to put in the stash unit. So I emptied out my inventory, got more stuff in the looting bag, and I'm going to try and get all the jewelry I need for stash units while I'm there, as well as a ruby amulet so I can try and enchant it when I get my magic up. While I was in the area and still had ranged gear, I decided to come over here to the Giant's Den to kill a fire giant, because that is one of the chunk tasks I added. And oh, I forgot that also was a combat achievement. Well, that's going to be weird with double pop-ups. But yeah, I think I'm going to try working on a few more chunk tasks because I believe I'm only 3 away from a chunk unlock, and there's a bunch I can do with all the stuff I've been unlocking recently. And here is Smith a bronze plate body in Lumbridge for another chunk task. And here is Pickpocket an Alcared Warrior for another chunk task. Now only one more for the unlock. And for the 5th and final chunk task for the unlock, I have Mine a Limestone. So there we are. But I'm going to do a few more chunk tasks before I roll the chunks. This is a bit of a weird chunk task, but here is a plant pot made in the Crafting Guild. There we are. Next, I have Bind Essence at the Oranian Altar. Oh, a runecraft level. And there is a pike caught at the Observatory fishing spot. And there is a trout caught at the Gnome Stronghold. And assuming I counted everything correct, once I catch a lobster here, that will be the final chunk task. There we go. So now I get 2 unlocks from chunks. So the first one is fitting. It's right over here. That means I can access the fishing stop, and also sandworms, which will be nice for when I go for Piscrillia's Favor, because Piscrillia's Favor is not very fun. And the next chunk unlock is... Oh, can I do all of Big Chompy Bird hunting? I might be able to do that quest now. That's really neat. And there is Elemental Workshop to end off the episode. So this does give me a fancy shield, and I think some levels. Yeah, getting closer to 40 smithing, which would be nice so I can make my own gold bars. Still need some mining as well. But that is another quest down, which means I get another chunk unlock. And that's going to be... Can I do Waterfall now? I have to check exactly where Waterfall takes me. But that chunk might let me do Waterfall, because I have the tomb down here, and I already have the Tree Gnome Stronghold. I think I can go do Waterfall. That'll be nice. And I might also be able to access Barbarian stuff now. It looks like I might just be able to slink around the top. Either way, that is a really nice chunk to unlock to end off the episode. But yeah, I got a lot of those chunk tasks out of the way, so hopefully I caught up on the ones I already was able to do. There's still some I can do, but they're ones I need to kind of train to work towards, like, you know, catch a dark crab. I can't do that yet, but I don't know. Hopefully I'm caught up a bit on the chunk task, and I did get a lot of progress in this episode, especially with stuff like, was that last episode? I can't remember. I have a lot of cool new gear upgrades and a lot of cool stuff in the player-owned house. So, yeah, but there is something else I want to work on gear-wise, and I'm probably going to work on it between episodes. The stats I got this episode might be a bit of a clue. But either way, this is where I'm going to wrap up this episode, so hopefully you guys enjoy seeing all the progress. This account's finally getting to a spot where it seems semi-decent. I know I have spent a long time or a lot of episodes going over low-level stuff, and I kind of wish I sped up a bit, but at the same time, there's so many chunk unlocks, and I don't want to just kind of gloss over that, because that's a big part of the series. But yeah, anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed and are excited to see what comes in the next episode. It's going to be a pretty big upgrade, let me just say that. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and until next time, goodbye.